This one is a rare subreddit that we get into. At least when I've been with the show, I've not seen this one. It's not one I think of often, but we're going to bring it to you on today's RR show. And it's r/ChoosingBeggars. Andy's going to be reading these stories today with one from user I am Noob Gamer. iPhone 4? That's not enough. I want more free things.
So, 1 year ago, we went to a market with all the toys my niece didn't use anymore, plus other stuff in the house that we didn't need anymore. Everything was useful, nothing was broken. At most, it could have a scratch. Things that didn't look nice enough to ask money for, we donated or went to the trash if it was useless. It was near Christmas, like now, and many people in our village had economic problems. So my mum had an idea. For every purchase that a family did, it didn't matter the amount of money paid, the client would pick one free item from a bunch of stuff that my mum selected, until there was nothing left. She did put what she could, we weren't rich either, but she was gifting some toys, a vacuum cleaner, a pack of nice dishes, clothes, shoes, jewelry, a small tablet, an old iPhone, 2 paintings, and also some food. Not old, of course. Rice, pasta, flour, olive oil. I know there were more things, but I can't remember everything. We did sell a lot of things. Not everything, but it was a nice day. Besides our Karen. Around 1 hour later of selling, a savage Karen appears. She bought a small pony toy for €1. My mum asked her what free item she wanted, and Karen answered she wanted the iPhone, because her son loves Apple. When she had the iPhone in its original box, the boy said something like, "Mum, that's an old iPhone. No one wants that. I told you I want the new one. It probably doesn't even work." Just to make it clear, yes, it worked perfectly. It was an iPhone 4, free, in perfect condition. For free. Then this conversation took place. My mum? "Oh, don't worry, the phone works perfectly. And it's in good condition." Karen? "Well, my son doesn't like it. What other Apple things do you have?" "Oh, sorry, but I only have that. If you wish, you can select another product and return the iPhone. Maybe something else he would like having." "My son wants something from Apple." "Well, you have an iPhone." "Oh, but it's old. He wants something from Apple that's new. Is it really so difficult for you to understand?" So you bought a €1 toy, are getting a free phone with it, and you're still not happy? You really expect me to go buy the newest iPhone and come back here to gift it to you? "Well, it's nearly Christmas, and the pandemic has worsened the economy. I thought you wanted to help. I can't buy that phone, but you can. You'll get much money today selling these things." "I'm sorry, I have more customers. I don't have time for this. We have 3 options. 1, go with your iPhone 4 and the pony. 2, return the iPhone and select something else. Or 3, return the iPhone and the pony and I'll give you your €1 back." I don't think I explained myself correctly. I still want to have this iPhone 4 for me. Then you have your free item. Problem solved. "No, that's not enough. I want more free things." Absolute silence. Everybody that was looking through our things stopped and looked at Karen. I couldn't believe it. Thank God the policewoman that was there also heard everything. She came to help, and Karen left with her iPhone 4. Why are you complaining about that? I would love an iPhone 4. The iPhone 4 was the best one. It was the legendary bulletproof one. Who wouldn't want an iPhone 4? You idiot! Our next one is from Captain Cookie 45. Choosy beggar demands free food after eating his first meal. So I used to work part-time at a kebab shop down my street. Very nice co-workers. I knew most of our patrons and we had a lot of regulars. Good times, I'd say. We used to have a weekly special, discounted kebabs, so on this day, there were a lot of orders, especially in the afternoons. One of those days was the time I met my first IRL CB, I think. CB comes in, places his order, I handed him his food, he paid. Everything seems normal enough. About 15 or so minutes later, CB comes back in and started complaining. You messed up my order. I want a new kebab ASAP. Oh, my apologies. Let me make you a new one ASAP. Would you mind returning your wrong order then? We don't like wasting food. We usually just share the wrong orders and leftovers in our breaks. Well, obviously I can't. I ate it all. Well, here's your kebab. That'll be €3.50. Well, you messed up my order, so it should be given that one's free. Excuse me? This guy finished the entire thing and then had the audacity to ask for a new free one? Look, I'm sorry, but since you finished your meal, I can't give you a new free one. You guys are scammers! I'm never coming back here to your shitty place. I'd very much appreciate that. Have a nice day, bud. Then he just dragged his ass out of the store. Well, that's how I got a nice meal for my lunch. My boss saw the whole thing and gave me a break, plus a free kebab. Nice. I'm still not sure if it was a CB or an AITA moment, but I still wanted to share my story. This next story was submitted by a Mackin Josh 15. CB claims a medical emergency. It's no excuse for cancelling his free demo. This actually happened on one of my days off, and I heard this from my co-workers that were there to witness it. So I can't say all of the details are accurate, but I know the broad strokes of the story are true. A few years ago, I worked at a little shop that is best described as a retro toy shop. It sold all kinds of toys, but its bread and butter were marbles. In order to get people in the door, we had glass artists come in and demonstrate on how they make marbles by hand. One of these glass artists was also one of the store's owners. Being a natural showman, he learned how to work with glass just so he could do the demos himself and put on a show for the customers. These demos were, of course, free. And as I'm sure we all know, when you offer something for free, that's when choosy beggars start coming out of the woodwork. One morning when we were setting up for the day, we got a call from the co-worker's wife. Apparently he'd suffered a heart attack and was currently in the hospital. Everyone was understandably concerned, but his wife assured us he seemed to be doing fine at the moment. She went on to explain that he would need to take some time off, and he definitely wouldn't be coming in that day. Once we got over the initial shock, we started figuring out who would need to do what to make up for his absence. The biggest and most immediate issue for the store was that he was scheduled to do the marble making demonstration for that day. The other co-owner called the other glass artist to see if they could fill in for him last minute, but they were unavailable. So with no other options left, she decided to cancel the demonstrations for that day. Unfortunately, it was the middle of summer, our busiest time of year. Before the store was even open, there was a line of people outside the door waiting to see the first demonstration. We opened up and very politely explained to everyone waiting that we wouldn't be having any demos that day because the owner had a medical emergency that morning and wasn't able to come in. And almost everyone was completely understanding and sympathetic. They still came in, did some shopping, and we made sure to demo plenty of toys and games for the kids to play with. Things actually went pretty smoothly for most of the day, all things considered. That's when Choosy Beggar arrived. In walks a man with his wife and 5 children. He pushes through the other customers to the counter where my co-worker is stationed and demands to know when the next demo is starting. My co-worker politely tells him what we've been telling other customers all day. I'm sorry, sir, but the owner had a medical emergency and wasn't able to come in to do the demonstration today, so unfortunately we've had to cancel them. But you're free to take a look around the store if you like. We have some games your children can try in the other room. But he wasn't having any of it. He starts going off on my co-worker about how he and his whole family drove all the way from Mundakalunka to see how marbles get made, and that it isn't fair that they don't get a free demo. He then starts asking things like, Is the owner the only one who does it? Can't you get someone else? My coworker explains to him that we tried and that no one else was available. Our manager was nearby helping other customers, but was still keeping an eye on the situation, ready to handle things if my coworker decided to call her over. That's when she heard the CB say something that pushed her over the edge. I don't know what his exact words were, but it was something to the effect of, "How bad could this medical emergency even be?" As soon as she heard that, she immediately marched over to him and said, "Sir, I don't think you heard her earlier, so let me make this very clear. The owner had a heart attack this morning. That's why he couldn't come in. That's why we aren't able to do demonstrations today. I'm very sorry if that's an inconvenience for you." There was a moment of stunned silence while CB took some time to process what had just happened. He looked around at the other customers who were looking at him. He looked at his family, who were all looking at him. Then, in a huff, he collected his kids and stormed out. And everybody clapped. Okay, that's not true, nobody clapped. In fact, as my co-workers tell it, it was pretty awkward afterward, and you could cut the tension in the room with a knife. I guess seeing a grown man get brutally dressed down in public is an uncomfortable thing to witness. But it did leave me with a very important lesson. When you take a Saturday off during the busiest time of year, you risk missing out on seeing some of the best customer meltdowns. I wish I could get a job where I just went in and dressed down really annoying customers. I think I'd be really good at it. Definitely sarcastic enough. If only such a job actually existed. Our next story is in from Cupcake Commercial 666. Sister talks crap behind my back, then throws a fit when I won't buy her gas and cigs anymore once I catch her. My sister smokes. Not great to start with. On top of this, she smokes very expensive cigarettes where we live. Each pack is almost $10. That's pricey here. Cheap packs are like $4. Which I didn't really care about before when she had a job, because how she spent her paycheck, the part not being used to care for her kids anyway, isn't really any of my business. But she quit her job, LMAO, yeah, during the pandemic. A month or so ago because she, and I quote, "don't want to deal with that bitch boss of mine anymore," and was coasting on the money she had saved. Well, now she's run out of money. Shocker. And instead of looking for another job, she's instead going to try selling her car. But in the meantime, she's broke, with no way to buy cigarettes. I don't smoke, so she can't bum anything off me. But our mum smokes, so sis could technically bum a couple off her, but she doesn't because mum smokes those shitty cheap cigarettes. No, she wants her brand of cigarettes. She's never heard the term beggars can't be choosers, it seems. So she's been in a pissy mood for a full week because she can't afford her expensive cigarettes and won't accept any cheap ones, and none of us are coughing up $10 to buy her a pack she'll blow through in maybe a week. But today I'd had enough of her bitchy attitude and decided to do her a favor. I said if she'd go through the Place A drive-thru for me so I could get us all some food, her kids included, then I'd help her get some gas and a pack of cigarettes. She eagerly agreed, but rejected my offer to get her any food, and Place A wasn't open yet. It was like 9:30 AM and they opened after 10, so she'd have to wait till they opened. Then she sort of paused and asked if I really wanted food from Place A and not Place B, which is closer. Place B is legit right next to the gas station, while Place A is like maybe 2 buildings down, so still very close. I said no, I've been craving something specific from Place A. So she relents and says okay, and that she's going to be sitting outside drinking coffee until then. So maybe 20 minutes go by and I'm out to give sis a written list of what to get. Because she's not got a great memory and will forget stuff. And I get close to the side porch door, which is open, and hear her bitching about having to go through the drive-thru for me to our mum. Just how I'm so rude for asking her to drive so far, and how food from Place A is just fucking gross, and how she didn't even want to do this anyways. Well, I heard our mum tell her to be grateful because nobody else was offering to buy her food, gas, and her fancy cigarettes. Well, sis scoffed and started saying something else, but I walked outside and she shut up. Mum and her had wide-eyed looks, but I reached down and plucked my card, which she was going to use to get everything, right from her hand and just said, "Oh, never mind, I don't want to burden you. I'll order through DoorDash instead," then walked back inside. She tried to call me back and say she was just messing around, but I ignored her. And when it was made clear I wasn't buying her shit or coming back, I heard her pitching a huge baby fit and our mum laughing and telling her she did this to herself by being ungrateful. So yeah, sis threw her fit and wore herself out before going and sitting in her car for a few hours to pout. I really had no issue helping her if she did a little favor for me in return, but I'm not going to help someone who bitches about said help behind my back. Well, we're very grateful to you, dear listener, for helping us out by being subscribers to our Patreon, and would never dream of bitching about you behind your back. We'll tell you you're a cunt right to your face. Hashtag British affection. Our next one is from Angler Zuba. Old dude won't pay because he wants a discount. So I work in a fishing shop in Poland, and I'll tell you guys, the absolute NPCs I meet are just amazing. A few days ago, an older man comes in at the same time that my usual customer comes in. Here it's a custom to say good morning or at least hi or a head bob to greet people as a sign of respect. It's kind of rude to ignore it at hello. Both men came in at the same time and I told them both good morning. Got an answer from the usual, nothing from the old man. But I paid no mind to it. My usual gets everything he needs and spends about $140, so I give him a discount since he only had $160 and still needed to buy some groceries. So I sold some gear to him for $120 because he comes in every week and spends that much. He leaves happy, an old dude suddenly starts grabbing a few things before coming back to the register.
"Since you've given him such a great discount, I'm guessing I'll get one too. That's why I grabbed a few more things. So, what's my discount going to be?"
I look at what he got, and it totaled around $60. "Sir, I can't give you a discount on these items. There's usually a small discount at any purchase at or over $100. And the discount the other customer got was just because he comes in every week and needed more money for groceries. But look, I'll tell you what. I'll knock 50% off the most expensive item you have there, a 2-kilogram carp bait worth $50, if you promise to come back." I said it with a smile that quickly faded.
"What kind of a business are you running then? You don't get to pick and choose who you're giving discounts to. Give me a much better price or I'm not doing any shopping here anymore. Matter of fact, I ain't buying this shit."
I took a few seconds to process what just happened, and then he slides his hand across the counter, knocking everything down. That caused one of the 2-kilogram carp bait bags to burst and outspilled a bunch of 2mm pellets all over the store. And one of the liquid attractors spilled as well, leaving the store smelling like bloodworms. Not exactly a good smell. I told him he needs to pay for the products he broke. I got a firm,
Oh, fuck off. I ain't paying you shit."
So I tell him I have this all recorded on store camera and will take this to the police if necessary. And I can access the parking lot cameras too to see which car it was he got out of, so I'll have his plate numbers. Suddenly a magical change of heart.
"Oh, all right, fine. I'll pay for the attractors and pellets. So that's 25 for the pellets and 5 for the attractor?"
No, that's 50 for the pellets and 10 for the attractor.
"Where's the discount? It was supposed to be half price. Please give me a better price. I'm sorry for what I did. So quit being a brat about it, please. Come on, do me this favor. You don't have to be a dick, kid."
That discount was only for the pellets, and now it's 50 and 10 for the attractor. The discount left as fast as your manners did. Pay up, or the police will handle things. He kept giving me half-assed apologies while also calling me a dick and pleading with me for 10 minutes, but I wasn't having it. I'm only friendly and treat people with respect if they respect me. He ended up paying full price and still comes back quietly and in shame because our prices are the best in town. Moral of the story, take the discount and don't throw a fit.
So thanks for being with us. The RR Show is a production of Evergreen Podcasts and Wessler Media. Now, if you'd be so kind, please follow or subscribe to our show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're feeling extra nice, you might as well leave a 5-star review. But for more, visit the website, rrshow.com. That is rrshow.com. I'm your host, Vince. Thank you to my producer, Kevin, and we'll see you next time here on The RR Show.